They are the embodiment of sin, the architects of chaos, and the harbingers of eternal torment. They rule over the souls of the damned and carry out horrific punishments. One is the Lord of the Flies, and another's entire body is covered in hellfire. From the celestial rebellion that shook the heavens to the fiery depths where the damned suffer, these are the 7 princes of hell. We've all probably heard of the demons of hell, including Satan and Lucifer. But you can't imagine the power that they possess, starting with Lucifer. So, he's a fallen archangel who's all about pride, free will, and stars. He rebelled against God and got kicked out of paradise. Lucifer was something else. God made him to be just stunning, like beyond words. People used to worship him back in the day, even before Adam showed up. They saw him as the Son of God, the Prince of Peace, and this divine being of light. God even gave Lucifer his throne on this fancy mountain, decked out with precious and flaming stones. Despite being this perfect, beautiful, and admired angel by pretty much everyone, Lucifer had a huge pride issue, like, huge. He straight up refused to bow down to Adam and Eve, thinking they were beneath him. Why? Because he believed he was created from divine light, while they were just made from dust. Now, that's the prime example of a superiority complex, right? Now, because of this rebellious streak, Lucifer ended up becoming the first sinner, the devil, the adversary, the whole package. But he still has a lot of power. With just the snap of his fingers, he obliterated a bunch of cherubim soldiers who were supposed to be guarding his cage. And his power was dialed way down at that time. Even then, he was stronger than Leviathan, his right-hand dude at full power. Like his brother Michael, Lucifer could go toe-to-toe with and wipe out some of those outer gods. And he's even thought to be able to take on the big shots, the second-generation primordial gods and cosmic entities. But he isn't alone in being able to handle the top guns. Beelzebub can do more or less the same. He's the fallen angel in charge of flies, pestilence, and famine. Among the 7 princes of hell, he's the big boss of the powers of the air. Beelzebub's backstory is quite something. Whether he started as an angel under Gabriel or was a deity named Beelzebul, worshipped by the Philistines, one thing's for sure. He took a nosedive into darkness and teamed up with Lucifer. Ended up becoming one of the big shots down there, a high-ranking demon ruling the roost in hell. In Catholic demonology, they've got Beelzebub pegged as one of the first 3 angels to take the fall alongside Lucifer and Leviathan. And this guy's seriously powerful, ranking just below the big shots, Satan and Lucifer. Now, back in the day, during the whole War in Heaven saga, Beelzebub was right there on the front lines. And right there with him in defying the Lord is Asmodeus. Now let's talk about Asmodeus, the big bad demon who's all about lust and adultery. He's the ultimate rival to Gabriel, the angel of chastity. So, Asmodeus doesn't just sit back and twiddle his thumbs. Nope. He's out there, manipulating human desires left and right, especially when it comes to the bedroom stuff. And let me tell you, if you fall for his tricks, you're looking at an eternity in the depths of hell's second layer. But here's the thing about Asmodeus. He's not just some one-dimensional villain. Sure, he can be downright ruthless, but he's also got this mischievous side to him. Now, in hell's hierarchy, Asmodeus is a big deal. He's got hundreds of legions of demons under his command, second only to Lucifer and Satan themselves. Back in the War in Heaven, Asmodeus was right there on the front lines, leading Lucifer's army. He even went head-to-head with Raphael, his former flame. But let's just say things didn't go too well for him. Raphael straight up ripped off part of his lion body and gave him a beating so bad he got knocked out of the fight. Ouch. But if you thought that was bad, let me tell you what the deal is with Leviathan. He's the fallen seraphim who's all wrapped up in envy and is basically Lucifer's right-hand demon. This guy's a heavy hitter among the 7 princes of hell. Now, before his fall from grace, Leviathan went by Fluminel, a seraphim created by God. He used to roll with Uriel, Gabriel, and was close with Hillel. But once he took that plunge into darkness, he transformed into this chaotic, dark force and ended up leading the charge in hell. You'll find his name dropped in the Book of Enoch as one of hell's big shots, representing envy and sin. But Leviathan's got more than just a title to his name. Thanks to his teacher Uriel, who's all about wisdom, Leviathan's also one heck of a strategist. He's got this crazy ability to summon these hellish whales straight from the depths of hell itself, using them as weapons in battle. And because of this talent, he's been tasked with guarding the Hellmouth, where he keeps his monstrous pets in check, ready to unleash havoc at his command. One of his main powers is that he can coat his entire body in hellfire, turning himself into a walking inferno. That means he can just waltz into a place and turn it into a scorched wasteland, along with anyone unlucky enough to be in his vicinity. But not all of the 7 princes are that proactive. Take Belphegor, for instance, who's pretty lazy. He's so lazy that he reigns over the sin of sloth. But he's not just lounging around being lazy. Nope, he's out there, tempting folks with clever ideas for inventions that promise wealth and success. Sounds tempting, right? Well, that's where the catch comes in. See, these ideas lead people down a path of greed and selfishness, playing right into Belphegor's hands. Now, here's where things get deep. Belphegor wasn't always a demon. Nope. He used to be part of the angelic order of principalities, all about maintaining order and balance. But after his fall from grace, he took on this demonic role, opposing the 6th Sephiroth on the Tree of Life. This particular Sephiroth is all about beauty, and Belphegor's got some beef with it. He believes beauty's subjective, and he's all about stirring up trouble and marring its appreciation. See, if his influence gets too strong, it could mess with the natural beauty of the world, leading to all sorts of chaos and ruin. Now, talking about chaos, there's also Mammon. This guy's all about greed, avarice, and everything to do with wealth and abundance. Back in the day, when Mammon was still hanging out in heaven, he had this thing for gazing at the golden streets. But then, things took a turn when Hillel, aka Lucifer, started stirring up trouble, rallying angels for a rebellion against God. And you know what he promised Mammon? Endless riches and gold, all for him if he joined the fight. Well, that was an offer Mammon couldn't resist, so he jumped on board. Now, during the chaos of war, Mammon found himself facing off against Raphael, one of the big shot angels. He put up a good fight, no doubt about that, but in the end, he couldn't match Raphael's strength. And just like that, he got the boot straight down to hell, courtesy of Raphael's banishment. With just a glance or touch, he can turn humans into solid gold statues. And if anyone touches those statues, they get turned into gold themselves, just like that. And if that terrifies you as much as it does us, make sure to like this video and hit that subscribe button so we can bring you more content like this. Now, let me tell you about Leviathan, this monster from the depths of the ocean. According to the Old Testament, it's this colossal creature like a sea dragon that God whipped up. God describes it with all these crazy details, giant waves when it moves, teeth that'll give you nightmares, and shields on its back that are practically impenetrable. And get this, when it breathes, it shoots out flashes of light, fire, and smoke. Pretty intense, right? Now here's the thing. Even the toughest warriors wouldn't stand a chance against Leviathan. It's the ultimate force of nature, powered by God's grace. But you know what's interesting? This Leviathan inspired a guy named Thomas Hobbes. He was an English philosopher who thought that when people were left to their own devices, they'd just end up fighting each other all the time. So he came up with the idea that we need a social pact, where we give up some of our freedom to a powerful authority, kinda like how Leviathan rules the sea. It's a wild concept, but it makes you think. And if you love this kind of Christian history, click on this next video to learn more about some powerful archangels who could take down Lucifer easily.